So, Mike Wellman is a marine operations specialist and joins us now. Good morning, Mike. Just give us an idea. What does a marine operations specialist do? What's your experience?
OK, I go back to quite a few years now as a military diver, and then went into the commercial diving field and operated around the world in the offshore oil and gas industry, where we dealt and used a lot of the equipment that is going to be seen in this rescue. So I've got a lot of experience and knowledge in that, and that's the foundation. This has come. I'm not surprised because some of these activities are risky, to say the least, and we've seen that with people going up into space and trying to go up. Private organisations, come for a jolly holiday. This is a very, very serious business. If you're going to go down there, 12,500 feet? How do you get back? You just said, there has to be a plan B. Yes, there does. There is no plan B here. I'm watching the pictures now. It's a little boat, a little submarine. It's gone down. There are now reports coming out that it wasn't properly constructed. We don't know, and I wouldn't speculate on that because that's for investigators down the line. But At the moment, it's pretty good news that there was knocking being picked up. It's been picked up by transponders dropped from aircraft that can pick up sounds. So when they were picked that up, it could be something else banging. We don't know, but it's hopeful that they might still be alive.
How easy is it to detect that sort of sound, Mike? I mean, we know that sound travels quite well in water, doesn't it? But presumably after a certain distance, you just wouldn't hear anything.
A lot of the what you can hear underwater is military, and it's highly classified. But they spend their lives, all the different big nations, searching for other people's submarines. So it's quite known technology. But what it can actually achieve is in many cases classified. But certainly if they drop sonar buoys around the location of the Titanic and somebody inside is banging on there, that noise will transmit out, and those sonar buoys should pick it up.
Mike, are you surprised, as Richard Tice was saying, there should have been a plan B? There was no plan B. There is no escape pod whatsoever. There's no winch. There's no contact with the surface. So even if they find the vessel, somehow they've got to get a vessel down there to winch it to the surface. Yeah,
and this is what's going on at the moment in Canada now. They're mobilising a very large and capable ROV. It's an unmanned vehicle. It's on an umbilical. It's controlled from the surface. It will go down. But they've got to find this vehicle. As I've said to somebody else, it's like looking for a 5p coin on a football field. It's not easy.
What would they use to find it, Mike? Sorry to interrupt, but what technology do they use to actually scan the area?
Sonar.
Right.
They have a sonar going out. But remember, there's a lot of debris down there. And, of course, they'll use cameras. They'll fly on various courses, plan it out. The French are sending out an autonomous mini-sub, for want of another word. It doesn't have anybody on board, but it flies without being tethered to the surface. And that can go, and it can move around quite freely.
Right.
And it can search for sounds or noise, and then it can relay pictures back to the surface. So you're going to have quite a bit of technology out there, but it's the depth of water that's the big problem. All this works really well in shallower water, but deep water, it's a bit different.
Mike, you have huge experience here. Could I press you and ask you what, in your view, really is the realistic prospect that they can find this submersible in time?
Well, they're clearly running out of time. If we know now that somebody is in there and is making banging noises, I don't know whether that's continuing. I would hope that they're going to report if it is. If they can find it, the big ROV can use its cameras to look inside through the port and can look on the outside to see if there's any damage to the craft itself. So they get that phase done. But then in a later phase, you're going to have to put down a lifting cable, which is an enormous task. That's going to have to go down and lift this, be attached to this craft, this mini sub, and lift it to the surface.